Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Lines Forever for a 1v1 cast on the mapgen. Before we get into introducing our players, with the red player in the west and the blue player on the right, please consider going down below and clicking some buttons. And one button I want to highlight today is the join button, because you can join the channel membership to get access to all of my casts about a day early, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but every cast will be early, and I make a post letting every member know that it is available early, and all you have to do is subscribe at the mini dualities tier or higher. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into player introductions, starting in the west with the red player going first land. He is UEF, and he is rocking this western position. His name, of course, is gonna be Kelly, and he is gonna be over here very happy, going for a second air factory with that commander. Whereas over here to the east, we have another UEF player, this time blue, of course, and he is going by the name of the entire pop of DK, or as I'm gonna call him, the entire population of Donkey Kong. And he is currently rocking this eastern position, really getting out to get some expansions going on. We're just gonna speed it up to +3 for the early game. It's a 20-kilometer big, or I guess it's 15-kilometer big, 1v1 map, which means that it's going to take a while for these players to get to the point where they're punching each other in the face, but those punches are going to be so juicy and meaty, because we're probably going to be able to see lots of experimentals, huge T3 armies, maybe some airplay. Gonna be a really fun and action-packed cast for you all today, but first we have to get to the point where these players are comfortable enough with throwing hordes of units across the map, and the first step to that is getting to the point where you can have hordes of units. So, early on, our first little bit of indication that these two players know they exist is going to be this scout coming out from the entire population of Donkey Kong. He's going to be able to get over the base of Kelly, and he's going to see every little detail over here, and that's going to go very well for him. Over here to the southeast of this little pond in the middle, and speaking of the map, there is about 50,000 reclaim, give or take. I think it was 49,500 whenever we started. But right here in the central area, we have this pond, and since both players are UEF, we could see some sort of naval play. The governor has a decent range and can probably hit these bases quite well. We have our first little bit of unit-on-unit action coming out from these players. A striker now out from Kelly is gonna come forth, and it's gonna be killed off, and whoa, no, it kills off a scout and runs away. These two tanks down here are gonna kill off another tank, and oh my word, Kelly getting amazing trades right now. He's not gonna lose a single tank, and he's gonna take out multiple of the competition's tanks, and he's gonna lose one, but that is a great trade there for Kelly here in the early game. We have another tank battle going on right here. It's gonna be a trade. The tanks kill each other in heated combat, very unfortunate. A drop up here, a multi-drop in fact, dropped right here and here, means that the entire population of DK expanding on the north incredibly well. And right now, the first comm movement we're going to be seeing coming out from Kelly. He's making his way over to, I guess, this reclaim field, and that's going to be a decent little chunk of reclaim for him to scoop up. Speaking of reclaim, let's see how these players are doing. Kelly doing a lot better than the entire population of Donkey Kong, but the entire population of Donkey Kong doing a lot better on the overall expanding and getting his mass extractors online kind of front, as he is sitting on a little bit higher mass generation per second. Down here to the southwest, we have a raiding tank, and we have a little bit of fighting going on right here in the southern central kind of area. The scout and tank going to make their way over here. A PD already in place, so that's going to be a non-issue for the red UEF in the defensive, at least, mindset there. And over here to the north of the pond, this little reclaim field going to be dropped by 4 engineers out from Kelly. Does he have orders for these engineers just yet? Does not seem so. Did not do the transport trick with the attack move, unfortunately for him. Is he going to remember that these engineers exist? And yes, he is, and going to get that reclaim going on very well. And that means that Kelly is now over 2,000 reclaim ahead, and in total mass generation this entire game is slightly ahead of the opposition, about 1,000 at any given time. and that's going to allow him to get a little bit more done, but he does need to address the fact that he's expanding incredibly slowly, and this reclaim, there's a lot of it, but it does run out eventually, and he's going to need to be able to take over some of this territory and hold on to it. The entire population of DK is currently having a heyday up in the north. He has a lot of tanks, going to be killing off some of these reclaiming engineers. Very unfortunate now for Kelly. Needs to get that transport out of there before it dies from being landed. And a lot of units now on this northern side for DK, as he continues to build up his power. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on to +1 for the moment. Transport does go down. Kelly kind of sleeping at the controls there. Has another group of engineers. Where is he going to drop them this time? Can't imagine he's going to the same place, but no, in fact, he is. He has just decided that this is where he wants to drop. Unfortunately, they're going to be dropped into a world of death and destruction, as it seems as though 6 engineers are going to be gift wrapped right into the waiting arms of these strikers, and that's going to be very unfortunate for Kelly, but very fortuitous for the entire population of Donkey Kong, as they will be able to very quickly kill off these engineers, and whenever his own engineers get to the area, they'll be able to reclaim this quite well. Has an engineer really close that's starting to expand into this area, and going to be able to build himself a couple of radars, in fact. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit weird, by the way. I bit my lip, or not bit my lip, I bit my tongue earlier today, and it's kind of like it's a bit swollen in my mouth, so it hurts. Speaking hurts. I go through pain for each and every one of you. You beautiful, beautiful people. But right now, the entire population of DK looking really strong, sitting on a huge advantage in total cost of his army. 3,400 versus Kelly sitting on a 3,400. I was just wrong. Both sides have about the same amount of units, and a lot of pillars contributing to that over here on this northern side. T2 from Kelly, he's getting a lot more T2 production a lot earlier, and he's going to have a lot of pillars rolling out onto the field very quickly. Mass for mass, I think pillars do maybe a little bit better than their counterparts, and of course are going to just win at number deficits. Of course, needs to get them out there, and he still, of course, as I was speaking about, needs to expand the entire population of DK. Look at him. He is still across the map. He is expanded. He is surrounding right now Kelly. Kelly does not believe in map control. He just believes in investment banking, because he has T2 mexes and he has T2 tanks. He is leading the technological revolution of this match, and he is believing in that higher technology and lower map control style of game right now. Has a bit of an attack going on down here. T2 has, of course, been achieved by the entire population of Donkey Kong. Yes, they all have T2. It's very scary. It's a bunch of chimpanzees and monkeys running around, really causing issues for everybody as this land factory starts to pump out pillars, but all of the assistance around it taken down, which means it's going to be a lot slower than maybe DK really wanted it to be, and a lot of cleaning up being done north of the base of Kelly, but he has a lot of work to do map control wise with all of these extra mass extractors. Once DK starts throwing a whole lot of his economy into these upgrades, he's going to be catching up very quickly if he falls behind whatsoever, and once he gets a lot of these upgrades, he's just going to be ahead. T1 mass extractors do quite a bit for you when you have as many as this man does here, sitting on a cool 50 T1 mass extractors. That is a lot of mass extractors, and that is going to be very dangerous. Large pillar force now pushing around this northern side of the pond and looking to get aggressive on towards the entire population of Donkey Kong. Overall, reclaim numbers, Kelly only about 3,000 mass ahead, and it's starting to show this little bit of an advantage that DK has had for a little bit. He's managed to get more total mass generated, but it's still neck and neck, as both sides having their strengths and weaknesses. Kelly doing a lot better on the reclaim front than his opposition, but consistently down between 10 and 25 mass a second compared to the opposing UEF player. A very aesthetically pleasing base coming out from Kelly. Lots of right angles. Can't say I'm disappointed. Very UEF of him. Meanwhile, over on the other side, entire population of DK, also quite an aesthetically pleasing base, not quite as insane as his opposition's base, but does have like nice little grids of power, and everything has its place. Man, that's one thing. Chris Taylor, I think, even spoke about it. The reason adjacency was put into the game was to try and make the bases look better in general. Encourage players to build their base in an aesthetically pleasing way, and my lord does it work, because the structures and the bases in Supreme Commander look prettier and just so much better than a lot of other games. Like this base, sure, if you knew nothing about this game, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty cool looking. He has like a lot of structures kind of tightly packed. He has these factories, you can see they're just pumping out units. Just a very cool looking game, as T3 has now been achieved by Kelly, and he is pumping out Titans very quickly. Already 4 on the field, and he's only had it for a little bit. As we crest the 15-minute mark here, and actually the 16-minute mark, these players really going to town. T2 Air achieved a Stinger, now out onto the field, starting to harass some of these forward units out here for the entire population of DK. And over here to the northeast, the Strikers, they're trying to find some damage. I mean, I guess I should say the pillars. It's mostly pillars here, but a lot of T1 PD really going to shut down this aggression, and these 2 T2 factories going to be able to continue to live another day, continue to produce more and more tanks to try and combat this. But Kelly making good progress in the northern side with his T2 tanks. The large Titan force, along with some T2 units, now going to come down here to the southern side of the map and going to be threatening towards this little bit of a fire base, this forward expansion out here for the entire population of DK. And Kelly now ahead economically. He's looking very, very strong this game. I don't know what DK is doing. He's had all this extra map control. Sure, he's maybe had to invest a little bit more into holding it, but he hasn't really converted that into a large mass advantage. But then again, maybe he has. He's in a huge power stall as he's working on his first T3 power generator. There is no such power generator coming out just yet. I mean, it's started up, but it's going to be a little bit further behind, as Kelly went for a lot more T2 pigeons from the look of it. And now with DK getting that under control, he is still ahead in his mass economy, just slightly behind for a little bit there. And still ahead in total mass generation, as the Titans down here to the south starting to push in, starting to get some damage done towards this force. And once they really get sunk in here and kill off that PD, this is going to be almost assuredly a lost position now for DK. T3 Air achieved by Kelly. Anything of the like over here on the eastern side for DK? No, there is not. Would love to see a Strat Bomber come out and come into play. Is that on the way? No, we have Broadsword though. Multiple Broadswords queued up, and that could be very dangerous. Gunship's incredibly good at raiding. Up here we can see a raid with a gunship killing off a few mass extractors and stopping another expansion of DK, and now he's moving it over here to the far north just to try and kill off some of this. There is, unfortunately for the Stinger gunship, a Skyboxer T2 mobile flak that's going to show up and very quickly kill off the Stinger. But the thought is what counts, correct? Correct. Stinger, yet again, using them to help with the harassment, as well as just using the Titans to push forward. T3 land has been achieved now by the entire population of Donkey Kong, and he's using some Titans to try and clear out some pillars. Pillars really decent against Titans, I would say. I mean, Titans, they're really good at killing off T1 and T2, that is sure, but the pillar is so cheap and you get so much out of it. And it's a little bit deceiving how much they can do against Titans, but of course these Titans are going to kill off all of those pillars. And we're firmly into that T3 phase of the game now. Both sides are going to be phasing out those T1 and T2 units very, very quickly. Other than Parashields and Flak, we're looking at a heavy focus onto Titans for the early portion of the T3 phase, and then we probably are going to see a transition into either Percival's or maybe even a quick rush for a Fat Boy. Broadswords being used over here to the northeast of the pond to start killing off some of these T2 mass extractors, and these broadswords, it's going to be very, very difficult for anything in the area to really take them down. Sure, a lot of interceptors show up, and they are eventually going to do it, but these broadswords going to kill off 4 T2 mexes for their trouble. And that is going to probably be a pretty decent trade. Broadswords are expensive, but he's going to lose a lot of mass generation right here. Of course, going to have to rebuild those, and is going to rebuild them very quickly. But DK now falling behind Kelly a little bit. I don't know if that's power stall related or not. No, it wasn't. He was just temporarily behind Kelly, as these players have been neck and neck all game long with the total mass generated until very recently, where DK has kind of taken the lead away from his red, taken the lead and blown it up compared to his red opposition. Nearly 10,000 mass ahead of his opposition now. I keep on saying opposition. It's quite the composition when you say opposition so many damn times. As we crest the 20-minute mark, neither side really getting a firm enough footing to really put a huge blow into their opposition's... Damn! Why do I keep saying that? I like the word opposition, everybody. Could you tell? Oh, man. Titans on the warpath. Pushing forward, but they're going to be met by other Titans. The UEF Civil War on this map continues to rage strong. Neither side quite sure which bureaucratic center should take over this planet, and that's why they're fighting, I assume. UEF and their bureaucracy, much like the governments of old, where they are worried about the paperwork and the red tape. Fortunately, the glorious Aeon seek to lessen that bureaucracy, as you do need some for society to operate, but instead to leave it to the clergy. As over here, man, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should. I mean, it's kind of accurate, but it's like, it makes the Aeon sound so much worse in our modern age. It's like, just leave government to the clergy. Trust me, they'll do a great job. It's such an unpopular opinion nowadays. Unless you're like from the Vatican City, in which case, why are you watching this video? There's only like 400 of you. Don't you have Pope things to do? As Shield now on the way, it seems as though Kelly a little bit worried about a snipe. Also forgot to turn the mini-map and everything back on, but we were mostly zoomed out. And overall economies, DK still ahead. This territorial advantage has just bled over to an overall economy advantage, and he may be able to turn this into something very dangerous very soon. He's getting up to that 300 mass a second mark, which is where you can afford to produce T3 units and not necessarily rush, but build a Fat Boy or a Novax or some form of late game T4 unit. So we will have to keep an eye on that. Here in the center, Navy has now become a priority for DK. Donkey Kong is going to the seas, and he's going to be able to start building governor cruisers, and there's really just nothing to really combat this. There's no contest in the waters currently, so yeah, unfortunately one of the first things that's going to go down to this cruiser is most likely going to be this beautiful radar. Wow, the UEF radar really does look good. I know it's low poly and it's not even all that well, like it looks like a radar to me, okay? Looks very nice. As up here to the north, this kind of stronghold that's been held by DK for quite a while. He's really held this territory against the wishes of Kelly for quite a while, because this should by all rights be Kelly's territory, is finally going to be taken down by a group of Titans. Large groups of Titans now amassing down here in the southeast, as Kelly is just constantly trying to eat away at the territorial advantage that DK has held for such a long time. And for the first time this game, I would say that DK maybe has a territorial disadvantage, as a broadsword in the middle along with a couple of Titans is trying to shut down this naval play before it even begins. A ton of interceptors are going to be coming in, and if a few Titans can get in here to stop these two, that could be good. If these interceptors all connect, I think the broadsword will go down after just a couple of passes, but it needs to be very, very swift. This governor cruiser probably not going to finish up, was taking quite a bit of damage. It's going to be very close to finishing. The Thunderhead class frigate is going to start tanking up some of this damage. That governor needs to get out of range of the Titans, and now some reinforcing Titans showing up, but will they be enough? The factory going down. Oh, the shields on the Titans going down, and yes, the factory will survive with 2300 HP. And this cruiser will be able to get some damage done. to the air forces, and if moved in close, can probably do some damage over on towards the main base of Kelly. I mean, we have to check the ranges on these things, and it's got quite the range. I'm guessing when placed right here, it may just be able to clip into the main base. And that's going to be huge, as up here to the north, Kelly continuing this raiding party with all these Titans, and is going to be taking out another 4-max expansion for DK. And this is starting to look a little bit dire. He's losing a lot of territory very, very quickly. In the south, you could argue some Titans of industry are clashing. Oh my lord. Clash of the Titans indeed. That was brutal for DK. He lost so much there, and also it was so beautiful for Kelly. But over here on the northern side, there's a large army now out from DK. It's starting to push down south towards the main base. Of course, reinforcement's going to be getting over here from Kelly a lot faster than DK can reinforce this position. And this roaming band of Titans still moving forward. 3 ranks of vet, 3 ranks of vet, 3, 4, and 2. And then we even have these pillars, which are getting their own ranks of veterancy. A skyboxer for security. A striker with 2 ranks of veterancy and 2 health a second. How beautiful is that? And it's down to the south. A couple of Titans trying to get through, trying to get some damage done. DK really slipping on map control and really slipping on economy. He's fallen behind Kelly quite a bit, but he's in a power stall. I wonder... I guess he's building another T3 Pigeon, and he's got his own T3 Air out now onto the field, but has been struggling with power consistently this game. And Kelly doing a little bit better on power, and it looks as though he may be 100 mass a second ahead, although that might be a lie. We need to wait until the power situation for DK has finished up. And yeah, no, Kelly is just massively ahead economically. He's just slowly but surely crept into an economic lead by upgrading his mechs is just better. He doesn't have necessarily the same mechs count, but he just has better mechs. And that does go a long way as these Titans push in, killing off yet another T1 point defense, and a T3 mechs now under threat. Kelly just getting a ton of value out of these roving bands of Titans, and there's just not a response up here. Gunship gonna show up, a broadsword, but it's too little too late. This T3 mech's almost assuredly slated to die. Even if he kills off all of these Titans, they've done their job. They've killed off at least 8 mechs already. And now they've killed off 9, 10, 11, 12. Just an absolute brutal display from Kelly on how to make raiding units very successful. Coming down here, killing off 4 more T1 mass extractors, and DK is taking a lot of attritional damage here. He expanded fast. He grew his empire to a very large size, but then he was unable to handle the unwieldy beast that is a empire spanning many, many miles. And now Kelly is under, I was going to say under threat, but he's threatening to get into the main base and even kill off some stuff here. There's just a broadsword here. Where are all of your Titans? You have so many on the field, but you can't redirect a few to deal with this raid? It's a very confusing. Letting this mass extractor live. They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Wait, no, that's Bane. Let one of them live to tell the story. They kill everyone. I wonder where the stories come from then. Captain Jack Sparrow. Quite a clever lad. The T3 Omni radar taken down. Already been replaced. Fat Boy now on the way. Anti-nuke loaded. And it seems as though Kelly has all of his ducks in a row. All of the possibilities dealt with. And DK kind of floundering here as we reach about the 30-minute mark. And Kelly looking strong. He's really gotten into the T3 phase in a great stride, and is really using that momentum to his advantage now. He's so far ahead economically. He was behind in total mass generated for such a long time, but now he's about to overtake DK, and he just has more units on the field. The land army of DK is nearly 50,000 mass. The land army of Kelly, if we do not include... Okay, the land army of Kelly, if we don't include that, is 45,000. So, yeah. And, I mean, the Fat Boy is about to finish, so I should have included it. So about 70,000 versus 50,000. It's starting to look very, very dire now for DK. He needs to get his economy going. He needs to get a little bit more behind him. And he's going to need to have an answer for this Fat Boy that isn't T2 artillery, because that's not a cheap man's answer to a Fat Boy. A cheap man's answer to a Fat Boy is air control and strat bombers. And that's not that cheap. There's no real cheap solution, but that's the easiest one I can think of. At least until they have a lot of mobile T3 AA running around with the Fat Boy. Fat Boy now starting to push forward. The governors have been largely shut down. Did any of these governors get any lasting damage? That's a bulwark. Governor, 1 kill, 5 kills, 1 vet, 2 kills. Yeah, really not getting a lot out of these governors other than maybe some anti-air presence, but I think continuing to build them would be a bit of a mistake. He's shown pretty well that he doesn't have the cruiser count to really punch through the defenses now built up by Kelly. And we've reached a little bit of an impasse, a little bit of a slow moment in the game. We're going to go ahead and speed it up just a little bit, just go to +3 for a small period of time. So that way we can see exactly how these players get on. Seems both of them are building up for a large engagement very, very soon. The bulwark shield boat going down to the Fat Boy. Fat Boy trying to get some kills onto this naval presence here in the middle. Is he going to just use the Fat Boy as an anti-naval presence, or is he planning to continue pushing forward with it? If he sits it there, he could very well lose it to the governors. I think he notices that now, starts moving away. Governors can be very, very dangerous to anything that stops moving for a prolonged period of time. You have to keep that in mind when your opposition is using these long-range missile boats. Up to the north, a bit of an engagement brewing, but it seems as though Kelly not too keen to go into an engagement with a bunch of broadswords looming around the area. And that's a lot of Titans that are now going to try and chase down this Fat Boy. The hill really betraying the Fat Boy here as he shoots a lot of his shells into it. And the Titans turn around. The Fat Boy does fall back enough to ward off the idea of using that large group of Titans to trade for the Fat Boy. Probably would not have worked. And we have Rambo SCUs starting to be produced in mass by Kelly. I think he realizes correctly that he's ahead economically, but that lead is diminishing quickly as DK has now taken the lead yet again. DK has ecoed very admirably, has a lot of idle T3 engineers. But he's really just come back into this game. I was talking about how he needs to get his economy back in order, get caught back up again, and he's managed it quite gracefully. He's still sitting on a relatively large army. Needs to do something with these T3 engineers. I know he's probably... No, you can spend mass. You have 40,000 mass. Build a Duke or something, honestly. Build some Novaxes and make him feel the pain. Sitting on 40,000 mass, or just build a Fat Boy to deal with his Fat Boy. Fat Boy pushing in the middle, very disconnected from the army of DK. Maybe he just thinks that the Titans are fast enough to respond to any kind of push, but this Fat Boy in dire straits needs to turn around immediately and needs reinforcements as these Titans are coming in mass, and they're being microed very well by DK. DK gonna come in and get a snipe off on to the Fat Boy. Let's go ahead and slow this down. They're getting in underneath the shield. And this is unfortunate for Kelly. He just didn't really expect it happening. But he has something special up his sleeve. These Rambo SCUs, the special forces of the UEF Army, now making their way through the pawns. Call it SEAL Team 6 because this is an infiltration and it's going to lead to an assassination if Pop of DK is not particularly if he isn't particularly careful about it. I don't know if he has any scouting on it. He does notice at least one of them, and that should be a sign to be worried. Harass SCUs now being opted for pop of DK. And if he gets up enough of those, they could be a very, very good situation. And a Duke now on the way for DK. DK stands for Duke Constructor, spelled with a K. And he is having power struggles, but when you're stalling 1,000 power and generating 21,000, it's really not that bad of a power stall, if I'm being honest. Of course, any power stall sucks, but if you had to choose between that and producing 500 power and stalling 1,000, you would choose that any day of the week. Up here to the north, lots of Titans now pushing forward for Kelly. In the south, Kelly yet again with a huge horde of Titans pushing towards the main base. There's a horde of Titans to defend, but will it be enough? And if it fails, this attack comes at a deep, deep cost for Kelly, as this will be a ton of reclaim in enemy territory. He's using Rambo SUs in an attempt to gain control of this fat boy wreck. And of course, just because Rambo SUs are really good, especially the UEF ones, with, I believe they have an AoE cannon. Let me just go ahead and check those upgrades. We can see exactly what they have. They have shield, energy accelerator, and a area of effect. So they have an AoE cannon. They fire faster with a longer range, and they are just simply very deadly machines of war out on the front lines. Another fat boy has been completed, and right when it's completed and starts moving, another one is thrown up already at 25%. Kelly producing fat boys so quickly, and he's still ahead on economy. Like, he fell behind for just a moment, but he's ahead once again, as DK still struggling with these power struggles. He gets another T3 Pigeon online, and maybe he can throw all of his engineers into this. Curious as to why he's going for the bunch of T2 shields, not going for the adjacency here with his Duke. It does add so much value to the Duke to have that T3 power adjacency. But I guess he's just a little bit worried about some form of counterfire starting up here soon. And don't know if you heard my phone there, but I don't know where it is. It's on the floor somewhere. So any more notifications, they're going to come through, sadly, but 'tis the way of life. The Rambo SCUs making their way forward and just wreaking havoc as they go. SEAL Team the Boys are back in town. God, the UEF SCU, I have to say, is my favorite commander design in the game. I love the look of these little chonky boys, but they have like the rounded edges. It's kind of sleek, but kind of UEF. It's just like this marrying of styles. It kind of looks like a Jaeger from Pacific Rim, and I really love it. And man, is it beautiful to watch these guys just go to work against the Titans. As we crest the 40-minute mark, we're no closer to finding a victor. Constant fights breaking out, and this fat boy now sent north to try and help with the defense. Neither side able to get large things going on. This raiding party up here to the north, very akin to the one from earlier, now being shut down by a bunch of broadswords. But slowly is the best adjective to describe how quickly these Titans are being brought down. And unfortunately for Kelly, they will die here in enemy territory, leaving a lot of reclaim. But he's pushing in the southeast. He has a lot of Titans. He's breaking them into large groups of about 20 or 30 and trying to make DK overcommit to one of these small attacks so we can send the rest in. He's coming in from the south with such a massive wave. And these Rambo SCUs are threatening the entire army here. Their AoE is strong. Of course, they probably won't perform particularly well against all of the Titans here, but they could do a lot of damage. Now a bunch of Ravagers going to be thrown up. Those will be a threat to the SCUs of Kelly. The Duke now nearing green health, which means 90 HP or above, or I think, no, 75 HP or above. This Duke will be done very soon. This attack needs to get some damage done because Kelly just doesn't have the shielding to really protect against this. Sure, you could make the argument of, well, what is he gonna hit? Just some mass extractors and stuff, but like any damage is damage to the bases of these players. And this large army now making its way into the base. The Clash of the Titans joke from earlier was misused, as this is truly it. I have not seen so many T3 assault bots on one screen firing at each other, and this is quite the stunning display of violence. I want to just get the full display on here for you, but we will turn on the health bars in just a second, I promise. The SCUs show up, and it does seem as though the forces for Kelly have fared a little bit better. Unfortunately, though, he can't afford to be too aggressive here. He really needs these beefy SCUs to start tanking a lot of damage. You can't afford to be the aggressor and in the enemy base and to take inefficient trades, because the reinforcements are right here. They get to show up immediately. You have to wait for it to come across the map, and Defender's advantage can be huge right now. Although a chain reaction right now could be huge. If this mass fab dies, a lot of Titans die, and oh lord, that explosion was big. Duke is now firing. Is it getting any value on the other side of the map? I don't quite know yet. Maybe that was the first firing of the Duke. Does seem to be the case. But the Titans may be enough to kill off the Duke. All of these shields built up earlier may have been a godsend, though. They're going to take a while to be chewed through. Just giving a little bit more time for DK to come up with a solution to this Titan threat in his base. But even once he does, these Rambo SUs are going to be hard to deal with. Sorry for the silence there. I had a coughing fit and muted the mic. The Duke goes down. Unfortunately for DK, these Rambo SCUs are getting a ton of value even after the fact. The Titans managed to get in here and managed to kill off that Duke. And that's going to be huge for Kelly. It means that this large time investment and mass investment out from DK was worth nothing. And he has done a very, very different investment. We have 4 Fat Boys over here on the northern side of the pond. The Rambo SUs are going to go down in a blaze of glory, but they've done their job. They have bought the space for Kelly to truly seal the deal here. With 4 Fat Boys on this northern side, I cannot fathom a way for DK to come up in a victorious position. How many Rambo SUs are left on the map? We're down to a mere 3. Unfortunately, I think that the Rambo SU production was stopped for a little while, or at least not quite so heavily prioritized. This Rambo SU just not giving a fuck. It's so tanky. Oh lord, is it tanky. Okay, well that's fun to look at. But 4 Fat Boys is even more fun to look at, because they are a scary force to be reckoned with. A few strap bombers down here to the south for Kelly. Is he going for the snipe? Will he make it happen? Oh, is it gonna happen? Will he be able to get the snipe off? He has the Fat Boys pushing forward. But it may not be enough, as he decides to shy away from it. A few interceptors going to be chasing down these strap bombers. Maybe he's trying to pull out the ASF, but over here a large ASF fight over the broadswords. And does DK know of the strap bomber threat? No, he doesn't, but this might be giving it away just a little bit. And the Fat Boys now pushing forward. Unfortunately for them, though, there's no flak. Stop the Fat Boys! Stop the Fat Boys and build flak! No! The broadswords might just be the answer that DK needs. As they're going to be able to kill off the Titans pretty quickly, and the Fat Boys when they focus on them. The Fat Boys need to stop and build flak. Unfortunately, they needed to do it a minute ago or so. And all of the Strat Bombers are coming in, and DK, will he survive the snipe attempt? All this and more at 5 o'clock. Strat Bombers coming in, and DK doesn't dodge, so he dies. And Donkey Kong goes the way of the dinosaurs, unfortunately. Thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. Thank you to the Patreons and the channel members for making this a much more successful channel. You all are so beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.